So winning in fantasy football is about finding value in your drafts, whether it's running back, wide receiver, tight end, or QBs, like what we're going to talk about today. Having guys that are going later in your drafts that you can find value on that have the potential to finish higher than where you're drafting them is what it's all about on draft day. So for you today, I have 3 QBs that are being drafted significantly later than where they are going to finish in your fantasy football league in 2025. So number 1 on my list is going to be none other than Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. His current ADP across all platforms is QB number 11, so he is going as a bottom of the barrel QB number 1. A couple weeks ago, he was going around QB 14 or 13 as like a consensus ADP across all the platforms, so people are starting to catch on pretty quick. In 2023, he finished as the QB 3 overall. In 2022, he would have finished as the QB8 if we take out the injured games and the first game he had back on a points per game basis. In 2021, he finished as the QB8. In 2020, I know he only played 5 games because he was injured. He would have finished as the QB1 if we extrapolated his points out because he was the number 1 QB in points per game through those 5 games that he did play. And then in 2019, he's back at QB number 3. When we think about Dak Prescott in a situation for the Dallas Cowboys this season, obviously the offensive line was a little bit of a concern last year. They tried to address this again in free agency and in the draft, so hopefully they're able to take a step up, and Tyler Guyton is able to take a step up as well in year 2. The running game is going to be pretty subpar again this year with Javonte Williams leading the way. Maybe Jayden Blue, maybe Miles Sanders get some reps. We don't know. It's probably going to look very similar to last year where there was a kind of like a hodgepodge mix of people. So more than likely what's going to end up happening is one guy is going to emerge as the lead running back on this team. But again, it's not going to be at that same level in performance that we were used to when we had Zeke Elliott or Tony Pollard on this team. He's going to be in a position where he's going to have CeeDee Lamb, who's a top 5 wide receiver by anyone's account. You have George Pickens, who's one of the best number 2s in the NFL. Terrence Ferguson is realistically at a bare minimum a league average tight end. He realistically has like a top 10 upside at the tight end position. So he is going to have a lot of weapons to throw the ball to. You have Jalen Tolbert as well. So you have like a respectable wide receiver 3 on this team in addition to the other people I've already mentioned. So Dak Prescott is going to be in a situation where the Dallas Cowboys defense, regardless of what you see on the internet, is not going to be that great. They're probably going to be around a league average at best defense in the NFL, especially if Micah Parsons doesn't get signed sooner rather than later. He's going to be in a situation where the running game's not going to be that great. So in your mind, you might be thinking, oh, you're going to drop a bunch of people in coverage. That's fine, but when you have 4 legitimate options to throw the ball to, one of which is a top 5 guy and one of which is a top 32 guy in the NFL, he is going to be set up to smash his draft position. You're looking at a guy in Dak Prescott who's going to be in a smash spot, who's going to outpace his ADP. As long as he stays healthy next year, he is going to be in a spot where he's going to realistically probably finish around QB6, QB7. Obviously, it's not a huge, crazy jump like the next 2 guys I'm going to talk about, but it is still someone who's going to outperform his ADP in 2025. Again, this offense is set up to smash as far as passing the ball goes. The defense is not going to hold people to a limited number of points. They're still going to get scored on a decent amount, so it's not like you're having somebody who has a great defense and he doesn't really have to throw the ball that much. They can just run the ball with the mediocre backfield. No, it is the exact opposite for Dak Prescott. He is going to end up being a fantasy asset for you on your football team. So at number 2, I have Justin Fields of the New York Jets, who's currently being drafted consensus-wise ADP of QB number 14. So he's not even going as a QB1. He's not even being drafted in the majority of formats and the majority of leagues. He's probably not going to be drafted in your league. Now, just as a little aside, I'm not saying that you have to draft him as a mid-round QB. I'm not saying you have to shoot your shot super early to get Justin Fields. Like I said, you can get him with one of your last picks, if not your last pick in your league. Because what you don't want to do is have Justin Fields pop off week 1, week 2, and then you're having to go to the waiver wire, bid your fab, burn your waiver spot on Justin Fields when you could have just picked him up in your draft with one of your last picks, if not your last pick. The biggest thing with Justin Fields last year is that in 2024 with the Steelers, in the games that he actually played as the starting QB, if you extrapolated those points out over an entire season, he would have finished as the QB 10. But again, that's with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have to look back when he played for the Bears as well. In 2023, in all of his healthy games, if you extrapolated his points out, again, over a 17-game span, he would have finished as the QB 7. In 2022 with the Bears, and again, you got to realize it's the Bears organization, horrible offensive line, no real running backs, and the real target earner on that team was DJ Moore. That was pretty much it. In 2022, he finished as the QB6. The guy was on a tear. The biggest thing that I like about Justin Fields' upside is that you're going to have Aaron Glenn coming over from the Lions, who has seen how a functional offense can work and should work. For Justin Fields also working with Aaron Glenn, I think you're going to see a slight uptick in the expected outcome of his passing yards and passing touchdowns, which I know is probably way out of left field for most people. But the reason why I say that is Aaron Glenn, like I already said, has seen what a functional offense should look like with Ben Johnson. And number two, I don't think Aaron Glenn is going to put Justin Fields in the same spot that Pittsburgh did, where they're asking him to make deep ball throws and makes a little bit more throws that were outside of his comfort zone. I think it's going to be a lot more of a simplified offense. It's going to be, hey, we're going to run the ball, and when you pass, it's option one, option two, or you run or you throw it away, and we're not playing any more games. That is it. The great news is he has Garrett Wilson, who he has played with before at Ohio State, so that's awesome. And if we're being honest, is there really that big of a gap between DJ Moore and Garrett Wilson? In my honest opinion, I do not think so. That season where DJ Moore and Justin Fields were paired up, where he was the QB number 6 overall in 2022, I believe DJ Moore finished as, in a PPR format, he finishes like the wide receiver number 8 or number 9 that season. He had like 1,300 some yards, however many touchdowns. The guy was smashing as well. That is what I think we are going to get a small taste of in 2025. I am not saying that Justin Fields is going to absolutely be QB number 6, but would it surprise me if he finished as QB number 8 or QB number 9 overall? No, it would absolutely not. Much like Dak Prescott, and actually even better example of the Dak Prescott situation, you're getting a guy who you can take with one of your last picks, if not your last pick in your draft, who has a potential to finish as a QB7, QB8 in fantasy football in 2025, and who gives you a huge amount of upside because you're drafting him so much later. So for my third and final QB who you are getting at a crazy, crazy value, it is going to be none other than Drake May, who again is going as QB 18 across all drafting platforms with his average draft position. Last season, Drake May was a rookie. We have a high expectation for rookies, I understand that, but he was a rookie on a horrible, horrible Patriots team. The offensive line was horrible, the receivers were horrible, and the running backs, no offense, but they weren't that great either. This team was not that good. That is the reason why they were able to draft again so high this year. That is the reason why Mike Vrabel came over and they moved on from their previous head coach. If we look at all the games where Drake May started and was healthy during the season last year, if we extrapolate all those points out, he would have finished as the QB 12. You're getting a guy who would have last season in his rookie season, again, his rookie season, on a horrible team, a bottom 5 scoring offense, a bottom 5 yards per game offense, who would have finished as QB 12, who you're taking as QB 18. Again, he's not even being drafted at all, pretty much in any format, unless you're in like a super flex league. So what that means for you is you're getting a guy who now has Stephon Diggs. He's someone who's going to finish as, in my opinion, in my estimation, as a wide receiver 2 in fantasy football. You have a team who drafted Kyle Williams. You have a team who focused on the offensive line. You have a team who drafted Travion Henderson. You have a team who is set up to have a crazy meteoric rise in output for this offensive unit. Whether it's yards per game or points per game, the whole offense is going to take a huge step under Mike Vrabel and Drake May in year 2. He is set up to smash. His rushing floor is going to be elevated because he's going to actually have people to throw the ball to, so they're not just expecting them to run the ball or have Drake May run the ball or run these little crappy routes over the middle. He is going to be set up in a spot where if you can take him as one of your last picks, just like Justin Fields or Dak Prescott, he is going to crazily overperform his draft position in 2025. These are 3 guys who you legitimately can take with one of your last picks or your last pick in your draft. If you're somebody who likes to stack QBs in their wide receivers, but aside from CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, you can pretty much easily, no matter where you're drafting, get Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields. You can very easily get Stephon Diggs and Drake May, especially because of how low Stephon Diggs is actually going in our drafts. The biggest thing that I'm saying again is we're looking for value picks. We're looking for people who have the potential to outperform their ADP. It's not always that easy in round 1 and round 2, but when you have the opportunity again to take these guys this late in your draft who have the potential to be a QB1, so you can save those mid-round QB picks, Take someone else at a wide receiver, running back, or tight end position. You have more depth on your team, and you have a guy who has the reality of being able to finish as a top 12 QB and be a QB1 in fantasy football in 2025. Hopefully this video helps you get a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025. If you're looking for other late round league winners at other positions, there will be a video around here somewhere. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. No, hopefully you guys will see me again real soon, and hopefully you don't laugh at my shirt too much because I love it a lot. Until then, y'all, have a blessed day.